I'm Gene Booth, Cumberland County Emergency Management Coordinator, and I'm here today to talk about the upcoming hurricane season and how we can be prepared. Our forecasters from the Hurricane Center has determined that this is going to be a near normal hurricane season. And what I urge folks to keep in mind with those forecasts is that it only takes one hurricane. A near normal season may be 10 to 12 named storms, but in years past, it has only taken, in low forecast seasons, it's only been one storm that can do a lot of damage. So we always should be prepared regardless of what those forecasts say. Okay. What we can do to be prepared is many things. First and foremost, let's make sure our insurance is paid, or make sure we have insurance policies adequate to our property, our homes, and our cars, and make sure we have those documentations in a safe place to where we can pack it up and leave if we need to go shelter. We want to have ample perishable food for at least 3 days, if not more. Minimum would be 3 days, with a gallon of water per person per day. We want to make sure that when we know that storm's coming, we usually have a few days ahead of time with hurricanes versus severe weather during the springtime. We have a little bit of leadway, some. So we want to take this time to do some final preparations, and that would be to get some cash from the ATM. If widespread power outages, you may not have the ability to get cash. You want to fuel up your vehicle, make sure you have plenty of fuel. Your prescriptions are filled, that you have ample prescriptions and medication for the time that after a disaster occurs. And these things account for all disasters, not just hurricanes. Also importantly, let's make sure that our neighbors are taken care of, especially if we have elderly or folks that may need assistance that live near us. Let's take care of them, see what we can do to assist them. Those are important things to do. With hurricanes, we're looking sometimes with high winds. May not be always, but high winds with summer weather, of severe weather. So anything loose and light in our yard, such as lawn chairs, decorations, grills, such as that, those things can become projectiles in high winds. So we want to secure those items. Hurricane season does start June 1, and it ends in November, with the peak being in September. So even though we're still early on in the season, we've already had 3 named storms, and one of those came in January. So we should always be prepared, and then tie up any loose ends when you know the storm's coming, such as cash and gas, and making sure your perishables and your water are stocked up. Other things that we can look out for during the summer is high heat and drought. We are currently in a wet season, but those other things that we can look out for is drought, water conservation, water in our lawn. During a drought time, we want to limit those things. Those do have effects on us in a long-term aspect. Also, heat-related illnesses increase during the summer, of course. And you want to be able to monitor yourself on that, drink plenty of water, stay indoors. And again, I really emphasize kind of keep an eye out on your elderly folks that are near you, and help them out as much as you can, or as much as they'll allow. Another hazard to be concerned with during summer and spring, for that matter, is lightning. So if you hear thunder, you need to take cover, go indoors, and it's said to stay indoors for at least 20 minutes after that last lightning strike, or the last time you hear thunder. That can reach out to 30 miles from a storm system for a strike. So you want to take cover and listen out for additional before you go back out. One main way of being prepared and ready for a storm that's coming through is to monitor the weather at least on a daily basis, and on a weekly basis at a minimum, just to see, because you typically have 2 to 3 days in advance sometimes for hurricanes. If you monitor the news channels or the Weather Service or National Weather Service website, they will feed you information to keep you prepared. Cumberland County offers an emergency notification system that we utilize to make contact with residents during severe weather. You'll need to sign up for it at our website at www.co.cumberland.nc.us. And this will give you a phone call, text, email, whatever you register for a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, or a flash flood warning. And they'll come to whatever contact information you give the system. What this does is allow us to make sure that we also have your information if we need to send out evacuation notices because of a hazardous material spill, sheltering information, disaster assistance information after a severe weather event or disaster, tornado, hurricane has come through, and there are things out there that can be offered through federal disaster aid. It gives us a way to contact you and get that information to you. Emergency managers are offered a wide level of training on a local, state, and federal level. And most recently, I completed the Advanced Academy at Emergency Management Institute for federal level training. And it really covers a broad aspect of hot topic issues in emergency management. Allows us to bring those homes and our citizens and our emergency management program get to benefit from training like that. The most important takeaway from preparedness activities is to make sure you have a plan. And within that plan, you consider all the things that we've talked about when it comes to having your insurance in line, having water, medications, cash, fuel, whatever you need to maintain your household for at least 3 days. It takes that long, at least that long sometimes, for additional aid to come in during a major disaster. So have a plan. Have someone outside of Cumberland County that you're going to communicate with to make sure to let them know you're okay. And to have that plan and practice that plan. There are many different websites and apps that you can use to help remind you of these things and to gather more information. North Carolina has the app Ready NC that you can download for an Android device or an iPhone device. And these things will show you where local shelters are open. They'll show you where power outages are. It'll give you information in addition to for creating that kit, reminders for updating your disaster kit or your readiness kit. Also, FEMA has an app that you can download on your phone that does a lot of the same things and will give you some weather information when it's issued.